Hi, everybody. Welcome to the new season of UCTV, this 2021. Your host, Samantha Letois, and I want to say thank you all for follow and continue to fighting for our community. This is UCTV by Unity Coalition, and I want to say thank you and welcome to the 2021. Today is a special day. We want to let you know what's going on during the inaugural presidential for the new president of the United States, Joe Biden. So I have the pleasure to announce also that I have another field correspondent at Washington, D.C. His name is Diego Fuentes, and he's also part of the board member of Unity Coalition. Please, right now, go to the website unitycoalition.org so you learn more about the different programs and different events that we have for our community. Unity Coalition is being in South Florida since 2002 for our community LGBT plus one. So today we're going to be talking about the different aspect and the experience that Diego Fuente has in Washington, D.C. So let's start right now. Diego, are you online with me? And welcome to UCTV.
Hi, Samantha. Yes, I'm currently live here in Washington, D.C. It's a pleasure and a humbling experience to be here with you.
Thank you so much. Diego, I know that it's been so very difficult with the security and everything that's happening in Washington right now. Let me tell you, what's going on with the weather? I saw that this morning was snow a little bit.
Yes, so granted, as a Miami native, this is just one of the first times that I get to experience snow, so that was a very pleasant surprise. Granted, this inauguration is unlike any that we've had before. For one, it was limited by, of course, law enforcement and the coronavirus. So ultimately, the mission was to make sure that there wasn't any deadly riots, right? That unfortunately our nation's capital and the whole nation had to experience roughly 2 weeks ago. So the atmosphere and the environment here it was at first a very quiet and gloomy day throughout, not only because of the weather, but because of the tension and the historical meaning that this day brings for everyone. And it's just, again, just super amazing to be able to be here and experience that.
I know that experience is very good, and also just to be out there and especially at this time for the year and this country. Diego, my first question for you is, since that in your age, in your community as a youth person, what is your perspective that you're having about the new presidential, the new president of the United States, Joe Biden?
Well, Samantha, that's a good question because, I had the opportunity of a lifetime to even help elect this new president. And because of the work that I've had, throughout the entire campaign season, it was very meaningful and worthwhile to even be a part of, to know that I was ultimately helping to elect someone who would represent, the best interest of not only myself, but the communities that stand behind me and that I'm a part of. That was my reason in which I wanted to, you know, be a part of it and make a difference as a young person. And honestly, even being here in DC, I'm able to see that change. I'm able to see that passion in so many other fellow peers, just like myself. I'm actually currently here with one of my fellow peers, and I consider him a close friend of mine who attended, of course, the inauguration with myself. And gratefully, we're here on Capitol Hill near Gallaudet University. Unfortunately, we can't be outside right now because of the tensions that are currently within the city, and of course, just for safe measures, that's what we're doing. We're doing this broadcast at a safe location. So I just wanted to quickly introduce Jason Garcia. He is a current student.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Hey, Jason, welcome to UCTV. I want to say on behalf of our community here in South Florida, thank you so much for accepting this invitation and also giving more about your experience today with the new inaugurations. So, can you tell me more about how was that today? It was like very like fear. You was feeling scared about the day that something happened.
Well, thank you first for having me in this program. And yes, so it was definitely a different vibe. I've been living here since May, and I've been able to hang out in the National Mall so many times. So getting to go there and seeing just like all the armies and all the checkpoints that we had to go through, like TSA, like, I think like 2 to 3 checkpoints, and then they would check your bags, they would like scan your body, and it was like extreme measures. So it was like different. It felt like kind of like a shock, like this is the city that I live in and this is the times that we're going through. But we understood why we were doing it and we felt safe. We felt safe because we knew after that, we knew that the people that were there were already checked and we're all safe.
And just real quick, those pictures that you guys are seeing right now, that was from inside a security perimeter along Pennsylvania Avenue, in which surprisingly only 25 people were allowed to even be inside of that. And Jason, it was what, about 2 checkpoints that we went through, and it was the strictest ever,
Yeah.
right? They wouldn't allow. They had a strict guideline in which what they considered, to be safe and whatnot. So that was just something to. It was as if we were going to TSA.
The airport.
But I think one of the coolest things ever was just waiting there in line. Which, by the way, there were long lines. Right.
Surprising, yes.
They were in the shape of a snake. And when Jason and I and a fellow other friend, we were there waiting, we actually got to interact and meet with the fellow FBI and security agents. So that was pretty cool, just getting to hear their experiences. We were learning more about the job in general, regarding being a part of the Secret Service, and again, it was very meaningful.
And I think it helped a lot with like ease the fear that we had. Once you got to talk to them and you saw there were people just like us, just wanted us to be safe, you felt more at home per se. You would be like, oh, okay, like I get it, I get why they're doing this.
And these Secret Service members were also from around the nation, so they weren't directly based from here in DC. So to know that, again, their mission was to keep everyone safe, to maintain the peace, make sure that there aren't any riots or any protesters from the other side. Which also that is something to talk about because we were able to actually see. And what was your experience with that, Jason? Just real quick.
So yeah, I saw like 3 of them walking together, and it was a little bit scary at first because we know they like to, try to scare people away, and we try to just stay away from them. But they were definitely present, definitely letting people know that they're still not agreeing, and it's okay. Like we all disagree, and it's fine at the end of the day.
And also with the whole coronavirus pandemic, in which we're unfortunately still in, what would you say was the protocols that they took in order to ensure that we were following CDC guidelines and making sure that we were safe?
Yeah, like the mask. I know we had like to wear the mask, and at one point, one of us like, I think it was me that put it down a little bit. And they were like, no, like you gotta keep the mask covered with your nose covered, and we personally had like hand sanitizer because we were going through points that we had to touch stuff and open our bags and close our bags, and so yeah.
Right. And that's just something that we strictly enforced within ourselves, making sure that we were safe. That was one of our main first top priorities. Making sure that we're safe from the pandemic, of course, and also any riots that could have been.
besides all the restrictions that you guys took it personally to protect yourself, the amount, as your Alex says, that you get the hand sanitizer and you was wearing your mask, there was another precaution or something like advertised that says that you guys have to do this before, before to get into the security. As you said, it was like very restricting area, and you have to pass like 2 or 3 filters. There was something else that you guys have to do in order, because sometimes you feel that you are doing good things, and by the end of the day, and then you're gonna be like in front of the last filter, and then you said, oh my god, I forgot this, or I forgot that, that very restriction that you need to talk about it. There was something else that you guys like have to make sure, like turn off your phone, or there was like an area that you cannot record or have the cameras outside.
Yeah. So surprisingly, also they were strictly monitoring us. If anything, I know I was hearing some National Guardsmen telling people, not to record in some areas
The checkpoints, yeah.
of the checkpoints primarily. And then not only that, Samantha, but here in Washington, D.C., literally, the city posted a map online, and they posted it all over on their social medias. And basically, within that map, they showed the checkpoints, they showed the
The streets that were closed.
the streets that were closing. They specifically named it with different colors. You would know more about that.
Oh, yeah,
Jason,
yeah.
about
So
the green zone.
we had a green zone, we had a yellow zone, which once you got into the green zone, you couldn't have like your phone out. You couldn't have like you couldn't be taking pictures of the checkpoints. The yellow zone was more, I will say, chill, more like you could go through. They didn't have to check you. But once you got into the green zone per se, like closer to where the president was going to pass by, or the motorcade, they would check you, even your belt, like to make sure you didn't have any guns on you, and inside your bag to make sure you didn't have any threats, I guess, for the president.
Right. And then also, I know for residents, it was a little bit more different in terms of, if you were just going to your job,
Yes.
they were more lenient about that.
You would have to get a pass that says where you work and when and what reasons. I know one person was like, oh, I want to go visit my friend who lives in one of those buildings. And they were like, I'm sorry, tell your friend to come down here to meet you.
And Samantha, that just shows again a reality that so many of the DC residents are facing, not only for today, but for throughout the week and for who knows how long. I mean, granted, it was just a few weeks ago that again they were able to see, and we as a nation saw, of course, the unfortunate events, the deadly unfortunate events that occurred. And I just wanted to quickly touch on that too, because I know that was just also an experience that so many of us have felt, close to the heart. As someone who has interned in that, inside that very building, um, granted that was 2 years ago, it showed me that, of course, that is not something that I want to see for our own government. And Jason, if you want to touch on that, on how you felt as a DC resident, as a DC student.
Yeah. So, for example, personally, I work a little farther from home, so I use the train. So I know that, like, coming back home, I was a little scared because I saw people going in the train with me who had the Trump flags and like the hats and everything happening. And just the news, like we would hear the cops around us and the helicopters, and many streets will be closed. And if we have to get to work, we have to call work and let them know, hey, listen, I'm gonna be late because this is happening. And I mean, they work with you because they understand, but it's just different. It's happening right next to us, so it's scary, It's because it's a place that and you. Me personally, I visit there a lot at night to walk, and to know that I can't go there because this is happening and it's dangerous. It's scary, really, and to know that people are getting shot and dying because they're going inside. It's just really scary. Like, just not something to think of.
Of course. And then, it brought, like I said, a lot of emotion. It brought a lot of questions that people are wanting and still are wanting to be answered. It just makes you think, if what if those people were people of color, or what if they were just people of color wanting to do a peaceful protest, and how that situation was handled was completely
Different.
different and overwhelming, too. And at the same time, now moving forward, we've been seeing, of course, people are being held accountable, which I think is just the number one top priority that we should focus on. If we're talking about wanting to be healed as a country and wanting to be united as fellow citizens, it's good to be held accountable for wrong actions.
Yeah.
And something too that was very interesting during throughout my visit is that here in the district they actually have billboards and signs displaying that the FBI is wanting to find these people.
Yeah, they have pictures through the train stops and like the bus stops too. They have pictures of the people that they're still looking for, and they give you like phone numbers for you to call. And yeah, so
That's amazing. That's amazing, guys. I want to say again, I'm so proud of you, and I will be. If it was with me, I was like very scared. I will be on my window, like, oh, I can see from here. Let me hear. I don't want to be over there. But as I said, I'm very proud of you, guys. I want to pause on this time, and please continue with me because we are giving ahead what's going on during the day, inauguration day for the new president of the United States. In the meantime, let me give you this. Next Monday, Trans R 2021, Unity Coalition Coalición Unida is celebrating the 37th. Let me give you the 7th annual celebration for our transgender and gender no binary for our community. This is the best opportunity. We've been waiting for this a year ago. So Trans R is here for you. Remember and check it out. There's two ways to watch it right now: into the live stream by Facebook fan page Unity Coalition, and also you can follow on Instagram, on YouTube. So January 25th to the 31st is gonna be Trans R 2021. So this is Trans R. Remember, January 25th to the 30th, Trans R for our transgender community, vision, talent, and many possibilities for our transgender and gender no binary. And let me give you an ahead, micro giving fund coronavirus is still here. Go and check it out, unitycoalition.org, and help to the community. We are continuous service to the service community. The service community that lost their job by the coronavirus. All these restaurants and places for the that you have fun, they just closed. And my community, they lost their income. So you can apply if you need help. Go to Unity Coalition, fill it out the form, and apply so we can give you some help. You need to pay the bill. You need to pay the something in your house. You need to for food. This is a good opportunity for you for our community, but we cannot do it alone. So I want to give you more information about this. Make your donation on unitycoalition.org. Scroll down until you see the beautiful hands and the little green pin for our community. Make your donation right now to unitycoalition.org and continue helping Micro Giving Fund Coronavirus, helping the service LGBT community. Los recursos para nuestra comunidad siempre están disponibles en nuestra página web de Unity Coalition, también en español. Todo lo que usted necesita saber que está abierto durante toda esta pandemia, las festividades, dónde puede encontrar las vacunas y mucha más información de inmigración con esta nueva elección del nuevo presidente de los Estados Unidos, lo pueden encontrar en los recursos de nuestra comunidad asistiendo o visitando nuestra página web unitycoalition.org. So Diego, thank you so much, guys, for still in this amazing interview with you live from Washington, D.C. So this is the quick question. Diego, I know that you've been on the street. Is there so many comments from the Latin community that they say that they're very happy, or is like everybody just scared about like having some conversations? What's going on?
Hey, Samantha, right now with the global pandemic happening, still ongoing, it's just very surprising to see that a city that attracts more than hundreds and thousands of people each year, that this time around, because of the current situation, it's just pretty rough, and it's very just disheartening to see that, of course, most of the streets are empty. And just one thing to notice is that, of course, people still came out at the end of the day, and they did it in a safely manner, which was, again, just very surprising because of all the rumors and all of the misinformation that was provided all over social media. And gratefully, we were able to meet fellow Latinx members and also members of the LGBTQ community who were in support of the current administration, who were just wanting to, be a part of that experience overall. And thankfully, next week's show, those interviews will be broadcasted on our UCTV social media platform. So I'm excited that next week, this is still ongoing with all of the interviews that I was able to record here in DC during my time, and I'm just excited that we get to share those experiences.
So let me announce to my people, next Wednesday, we're going to have part 2 straight from Washington, D.C. Diego Cifuentes is going to be giving more and more in the videos that you're going to find in our YouTube channel as well on unitycoalition.org. So don't forget the opportunity to continue with the part number 2, Diego Cifuentes live from Washington, D.C. next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Remember, Eastern Standard Time, only on Facebook Live on YouTube channel by Unity Coalition. And I want to say thank you to our sponsors, Ambiente Magazine, Gilead, Unity Coalition, and of course, the Southern Aid Coalition. They make this possible, so thank you so much for supporting Unity Coalition and UCTV. Remember, here every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, UCTV is going to be live for you. And continue with this amazing days, elections, happiness for everybody. I want to wish the best for our country, for our people, and this mix of national. We have a different color, we have different backgrounds, and I'm so excited for that, Diego. So I know that our community right now, what we are expecting for the LGBT community now.
Granted, I know Jason and I, being a part of that community, of course, we were able to actually also speak with fellow members of the LGBT community here in DC. And we're just ultimately excited to know that this administration will be putting up policies that will help our community overall. We're talking about protection for the youth, protection for LGBTQ workers, protection for our healthcare, and there's just so much that it means for us with the current administration now in place. And maybe you can talk about how you feel as a student and a resident who is part of the LGBT community.
So definitely, I think Biden's new plan to show the cabinet as what America is, it's amazing, I think. Not only because we have women, but we have trans people, and we have people who are openly gay, like compete. And to see people like you, someone who you can connect, I think it's an amazing experience. Just to see, and that they got your back, they understand your struggle, and they're gonna be able to voice for you, because you're not gonna be able to be there, so they're gonna be able to voice for you. And I feel like the cabinet now, it's gonna be amazing, and they're gonna want the best for all of us as a country.
Of course. And, President Biden has pledged to have a cabinet that reflects the diversity of America, that reflects us as citizens, as Americans at the end of the day. And to know that he is, appointing qualified people to these cabinet positions within his administration is just truly amazing to see. Again, that change is going to be possible. Of course, a lot of the current policies that were placed by the last administration is going to be reversed, and it has been. It's just, again, just truly amazing for all of our minority and marginalized communities. And I'm also just talking about quickly our immigrant communities, to know that this is.
We already heard from, he said the DACA are going to have a path to citizenship. So that will be amazing, because I personally have friends who are part of DACA. So I think that will be amazing for them to know that we are going to have the same opportunities.
And Jason, if you can just quickly share with our viewers your nationality and part of your story on, again, who you are as a person.
Yeah, so I was born in Nicaragua. I moved here when I was 10. And, as an immigrant per se, it was hard to, accommodate to this country. But like now, it just feels like there's people like me, and there's people who could understand me, where I come from. And I think that's great. I think it's great for us to just have people to look up to. Personally, I thought politics was just for old people, and it was boring. It was boring stuff. But now it's like, I'm interested in politics, and I never thought I would be, but that's something that has definitely piqued my interest, just to see how those decisions that they make affect us, like our everyday life. So I think that's great.
Of course. And I just wanted to quickly jump on that real quick, because, we are part of the Gen Z generation.
Yeah.
So would you say that our generation has made a difference when it comes to, after the elections? Because, of course, now we have a Democratic House, Senate, and presidency.
Yes. So I know one of the many platforms is TikTok. I know, for example, like Joan Ossoff, he touched a lot on TikTok, and it's like he tries to reach to us, the young people who are the future of America. So I think that's great. I think it's great that they are trying to reach to us and not us to them. It's good to know that they work for the people.
Of course.
Guys, I would like to ask you, Diego, how was that conversation with Mike Lavers, which is, we know that he works for the Washington Post as well. And also, how was that opportunity? He's an amazing, I know him, and I had the opportunity to have an interview with him. So can you tell me about that conversation with Mike?
Of course. And granted, this interview that I've had with him will be shown on our social media platforms here in the coming days. So I'm excited to be sharing that, but I'll quickly touch on that. So Michael, he is from the Washington Blade, and, of course, an international news editor for them. And that was just, again, a humbling and learning experience for myself. I was able to take in, as I'll use the analogy of being a sponge, right? I was able to take in as much information as I can. And as a fellow journalist, as a fellow, DC professional, I really admire the work and the passion that he has as a person. And to know that, again, I can see myself doing, the work that he does, because it's just beyond amazing. Is just truly inspiring. And we were able to talk about, again, the realities of the ongoing situation here in DC with dealing with the pandemic. We were talking about the Capitol assault that occurred not too long ago. And then we were also just talking about the current events. We were talking about, of course, this week in general with the inauguration happening, and it's just truly amazing. I can't wait for you guys to be seeing the interview soon. And Michael, thank you so much if you're seeing this right now for everything, for even being generous and just being so welcoming and friendly.
I want to thank you guys. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and thank you for sharing with the rest of the world this opportunity and the experience just to be there in the security. And as I said to the beginning, for me, I will be like, let me be in the room because the security and everything getting me so a little bit scared. But as I said, I'm proud of you guys, and I can't wait to see you. Remember, next Wednesday is Diego Cifuentes live from Washington, D.C., part two about the inauguration day. Our amazing Dieguito Fuentes. And thank you so much for your friends to be in the interview with you guys. Just remember, we are here every Wednesday, 7 p.m. live on Facebook. On also, you can find us on YouTube channel. Remember, I'm your host, Samantha Letois. Thank you so much, Diego, and thank you for being here on the show. And I hope to see you next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you all. This is UCTV, and stay safe, stay tuned, stay connected, and wash your hands. Thank
There
you.
you go. Thank you, Samantha.
Thank you.